Hello and welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage, on what is now a sunny Wednesday afternoon. A couple hours ago, it was raining hard. Now, nothing but a memory. Things are drying up in the next week. Weather-wise, looks fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, during the rainstorm, my new boot showed up. I bought this particular set of Redback, which is an Australian boot. I don't know if I get my leg up that high. The slip-on, no laces, steel toe, or composite toe, either way, safety toe. I have them off and on all day long. Literally like wearing slippers. I've had these on for maybe 10 minutes, and it feels like I've been wearing them for 5 years, which is about how long these last. So, if you work on cement and your feet hurt, I'm telling you, don't be afraid that the slip-on, they don't have laces. You don't need laces. That isn't where your support comes from. My ankles don't hurt. I've been wearing these shoes for maybe 15 years now. And they last nearly forever. Now I tried to buy, let's just take them right off for a second. I tried to buy one with the cap protector already on it because when I'm working like on my knees and my foot's back like this on the cement, it tends to wear the leather out. That's the only complaint I have, but they do sell it with that, but they're in kind of short supply. So I had to get what I could get. This isn't a boot ad. I don't know them. I'm not sponsored by them, but I wear them because I work on cement as a mechanic, and I would not without these. My feet used to hurt so bad I considered another career. So when you work on a sea of cement and every time you walk it's 600 or 700 steps because the place is huge, it just wears you out until you float on a cloud. So be careful. These are European sizes, which are one size down from the ones we're used to, the US sizing, if you're from the US watching my video. So I normally wear a 13, so you got to back it up a size and wear a 12, and so on and so forth. Enough about the boots. Couple things we want to talk about today. First off, I hope you can see my band pin length checking tool that I bought. This is my transmission I built a few weeks ago. I finally decided while I'm waiting for some more parts for the valve body to try using this tool. This part is referenced in both the Turbo 400, also known as the 3L80, the ATSG manual, and this piece is mentioned in the 4L80E manual with a different base. I haven't tried this on the 4L80E, but I will. But I did find out while messing with this, and I'm going to have to do a whole video and repeat half of what I'm telling you, but upcoming, I learned that the one I bought was considered the early tool, and you have to have a bunch of these to cover the different length available pins. So just messing with this, this one just tells you short, medium, or long pin, and you determine that from the list. That I'm going to need a long pin according to this, but basically you put it in, you close the door, and you're supposed to put 25 foot-pounds down on that, and you read where that step lands. So I will do a thorough review because I've ordered the gauge pin that has 3 sides on the top, and it's the one that's referenced in the manuals, and it's the one that tells you directly which pin you need. So again, I'm going to do a whole video on that, but interestingly enough, I currently have 14 or 15 pins free of transmissions, pistons with pins in them, and all but one of them has the 2 rings, which is the one you see in all of them. It's not quite middle of the road in length, but it seems that's a pretty popular choice for GM. And I don't know how rare the other lengths are. The alternative would be for you welding on the end. But so in my video upcoming, I promise, we're going to cover the use of this tool, the use of another tool that I made, and the way I normally check it, without any tools, but that's just applying common sense. Last week I ordered some more aluminum deep transmission pans, Turbo 400, combined with one that I had. So I figured I've gone over some pans in the past that I happen to have. I certainly haven't touched on every pan available, but the deep aluminum finned transmission pan is what I prefer. So the first one, I've shown you this one before. It's a BTE, and it says right on it BTE. Other than this rectangular logo, it's very similar to the FTI and the JEGs and everybody else's, but interesting notes of what it comes with anyway. This has filter supports. I don't feel I need a filter support because I put washers on my spacer bolt with the spacer to hold the filter solid. So it doesn't rely on sitting on the bottom of the pan like the stock one did. So that was probably fine when you're motoring down the road in your crew cab dually, but when you're doing violent things with your car, having the stock filter flopping around, probably not a good idea. So they give you these little standoffs, and in the hardware kit they give you a longer bolt and a spacer, just a regular 5/16 bolt. They give you a metal tube with no wings, but that's okay. One O-ring and just regular bolts, 5/16. Nothing wrong with it. That's what they give you. Installed probably a dozen of these in the last couple of years. Zero complaints. The drain plug on both the BTE and the FTI and the JEGs, and probably this, well, not the Summit because we're going to get to that. The thread for the drain plug is 1/2-inch fine thread. Just a regular bolt is what they give you with a nylon washer. I go online and find deals where you can buy a 10-pack or a 12-pack of magnetic drain plugs. I like that they actually call out the thread size on the bottom. And if I don't have a magnetic drain plug, I typically glue a magnet onto the aluminum in the pan, but the inside magnets work a lot better on a steel pan, like a stock deep pan. They'll sit wherever you leave them in the pan, where aluminum it could float around. So the magnetic drain plug seems easier. It's probably going to scare you when you take it out every time because it's going to have material on it. As long as it's not big chunks and a lot of it, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But you're going to see some debris, almost guaranteed. Next one is the, going back to the BTE, I don't know the part number. They only sell one Turbo 400 pan, so shouldn't be hard to find. This is the FTI. I believe the part number is 4013. In fact, I can almost guarantee it. It's a beautiful pan, just smooth inside. It appears bigger, even though it's not, just by the way it looks. All fit on the bottom. They give you a 1/2-20 magnetic drain plug right out of the package. So basically the same plug I bought to install in the BTE, this comes with it. And again, a favorite pan of mine. I like them because the transmission shield brackets fit with minor modifications on all these pans. I had trouble in the past with the B&M, the one I really wanted to use, because it's thicker on the sides, but I've had success with these in the past. In the hardware kit here, they give you a plastic pickup tube for the filter with two O-rings at least, but there's nothing wrong with the plastic tube. It does not have the wings. I guess given the chance, I'll take the steel tube, and they give you regular black oxide Allen-headed bolts. That's what you get in that one. Now, slide on back here. Hope you can still see me. I was curious. Last week I needed to buy a bunch of pans because when I use these, they all had a home. I'm going to refresh out. So Summit and Trick Flow both make a decent pan. I've never had either one. The only drawback from the Trick Flow is it actually says on the bottom instead of being just finned, it says Trick Flow. And I really didn't want a logo on my pan. When I think of Trick Flow, I think of a cylinder head company. And again, nobody's going to see it. It's under the car. But I was drawn to the Summit kit. It's for the same price as the FTI pan. I bought their kit, which in the picture came with the race filter with no yellow Dacron showing, the one that fits the Allison transmission. In reality, they send you a stock Turbo 400 filter. You can go right on Summit's website right now, look at the picture for this pan. I'll give you the part number, SME-1001R, 1001R. And in that picture, you're going to see the filter with the open window, but that's not what I got. But that's okay. In this cute little cardboard cutout that fits inside the pan that looks like a Turbo 400 pan, the Summit pan is made by Trick Flow. It says right on it, Trick Flow. So what I got is what I wanted. I got the Trick Flow pan because I like the looks of it. It's made in the USA, and it doesn't have the logo. And as a bonus from Summit, I got cadmium plated bolts at a 12 point for the pan bolts, a regular 5/16 bolt for the filter, one O-ring here, and a spacer, plus a genuine General Motors plastic filter tube, but it does have the wings. It's the actual OEM pickup, which I thought was pretty cool when you open an aftermarket part and it has genuine GM parts in it. They even give you instructions. And the pan itself has 4 filter standoffs. Proudly says Made in USA right inside. It's a beautiful pan. It seems extra thick and rugged and somewhat heavy for an aluminum pan. The only, I wouldn't call it a dislike, but you know, I just bought like a 12 pack of 1/2 inch fine thread magnetic drain plugs, and this one is 3/8 NPT pipe thread. But I just found a 12 pack of those online on eBay. So they're on the way, so I'll have magnetic drain plugs for these too, because I bought 4 of these kits, and I'll use the stock filters and, you know, street transmissions, so it's not the end of the world. But the finish and everything on it is beautiful. Once again, I'm not a product spokesperson. I don't typically review products like this. I guess I do every now and then, but I'm not afraid to tell you whether I like it or not. So I guess that'll be my calling card. A couple more quick things. Let me come closer to you. Back to FTI. They're out of Florida. Once again, not associated with them in the least, but I do find I use a lot of their products. They're available, they're reasonably priced, and more importantly, they're available. So I bought a while back from Summit, but 4 or 5, maybe 6 FTI, they're the F405, let me do that again, F4050B, 4050B case saver. Now the case saver has just a 3/8 black oxide conical head bolt that goes out through the case when you knock the pin out of the side of the case. And there's a special bolt, it's a shouldered bolt that goes up through, from the valve body, it goes up through this hole right here. I went and grabbed one of the 6 that I had recently bought through Summit, and the special small shouldered bolt was missing. So I grabbed another one and continued on. I think it was even in this transmission. So just for kicks, I didn't call Summit, I called FTI. I had another question about a valve body, whether it backed up without pushing the trans brake. And while I had the guy on the line, I explained that I'd bought 6 of these through Summit, not from them. And the bolt was missing, and I wanted to buy one. I wasn't asking for a free one or anything. And he said, absolutely not. I'll send it to you. And 2 days later, direct from FTI, I got my special shouldered bolt and another 3/8 conical head bolt. They sent me the whole bolt kit for the case saver. you've seen me install a million times, but I feel that's pretty decent. I guess it used to be the norm. Nowadays, when a company does stuff like that, it seems like the exception. So, thank you, FTI. Again, just to be clear, I wasn't asking for anything for free. I just wanted to buy a bolt, so I didn't have either I had to make one. Didn't really seem worth the effort. Speaking of pans, I'm definitely a fan of the Moroso blue gasket. They're around $45. I'm not sure how reusable it is or how spongy it gets because I haven't used it long enough to know. But I don't think you'll have any trouble with it. Moroso's a great company. I was really interested a couple years ago in the reusable gasket, similar to what is in a 4L80E, that has the plastic little stanchions here. You can't over tighten the bolts. You could strip out the threads, but you're not going to squish the gasket. This is a Summit gasket. It's $16, $17 on their website. I've already lost the part number, but so far it has two, I guess you'd call them O-rings that kind of made into it on both sides. So you got like two walls of protection keeping the fluid in. And so far these things have been money. They claim they're reusable. They seem to fit. Again, you can't over tighten them. Not a bad deal. So that's enough rambling for today. I'm excited. I did find the triangle-headed gauge pin on eBay. I actually Googled the Kentmore number, and a bunch of them came up. Some very expensive, some not so much. This was a buy it now or make an offer. Of course, I made an offer. Why not, right? If it's an option. I mean, I don't make a stupid offer, but I think I saved $15, which in this case was the shipping, because it wasn't free shipping. The shipping was $15 on a tiny pin. So either way, it's on the way. Might have it as early as Friday, so I can knock that promised video off the list. I'm only like 2 behind that I promised, so we're getting there. So enjoy your Wednesday, what's left of it, and I'll talk to you soon.